Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we have a Toronto Raptors video. Man, they did not look good Saturday night against the Detroit Pistons. Hopefully things are better tonight against the Portland Trail Blazers, but I mean, I don't know, man. There's not really many excuses. I understand Freddie was out. Freddie being out is a killer because especially when you get outscored 34-26 in the fourth quarter, like Fred VanVleet is the Raptors closer. It's not Pascal. It's not Gary Trent Jr. It's Fred VanVleet. And I think it was very evident in the fourth quarter that he is a very important piece to this Raptors unit. Their defense looked horrible. Just honestly for like the entirety of the game. I'm not trying to be too negative because they're 7-7 and they're an extremely young team, and you know, a lot of people were expecting, a lot of Raptors fans were expecting them to at least make the play-in tournament. I mean, they're a fully capable playoff team. This is a fully capable playoff team. You're going to go through bad games. Like, you're going to have bad games. The only reason I'm more fired up about Detroit's loss is because there was bad coaching and there was bad defense. And you can't have either of those in the playoffs. You can't have either of those when you're trying to win a championship. Your coaching needs to be on point. Your defense needs to be on point. So, yes, we're 14 games into the regular season, but a lot of these issues need to be addressed if the Raptors want to make a deep playoff push. And the number one thing I found was, and it's not just against Detroit, it's in general, it's not sticking to your assignment. I mean, it's countless times either there's a wide open three. There's just way too many wide open threes, especially in the corner, and it's due to overhelping. Nick Nurse is a very good coach, in my opinion. I think he's a very talented coach. The issue is there's no big body on this team. And so if he is so focused on, if the way he coaches is extremely focused on just like protecting the paint, having big paint players, guys like Serge Ibaka, guys like Marc Gasol, and creating turnovers and pushing the pace, pushing the momentum in transition, well, that's all peach and dandy, but it's like fine and dandy, but there's no big man on this team. So what happens all the time is a lot of these defenders, they collapse to put more help in the paint, and what happens? They push it out. It gets a wide open look from downtown for the opposing offense because everyone's crashing. They think that they can just bounce back. They can rely on speed to recover from the shooter or hop into a passing lane, and they do a lot of deflections. They lead the NBA deflections per game. They have like at least 20 deflections per game. It's ridiculous. But the issue is that's the good news, but the bad news is when they don't get the deflection, there's just a wide open three. Same thing can be said with their pick and roll game. I mean, they're just constantly trying to, if they get caught up in a string, they're just trying to like get a deflection. They're trying to get in the passing lane as opposed to just squaring up to your defender. So if you don't have guys, I know the Raptors have guys who can get rebounds, but if you don't have a true center who can guard these bigs and get these rebounds, what's going to end up happening is the opposing team's going to get an extreme number of second chance opportunities. And obviously, you can put it back up or you can dish it out. But, I mean, the Raptors, before this season, I was under the impression that they were a phenomenal three-point defensive team, if that makes sense. This year has not been the case at all. They have yet to even really play a team that is quote-unquote elite or lethal from downtown, except maybe a handful of teams, maybe like one or two. This West Coast road trip is going to be very difficult for them if they don't address these problems. And the issue is, I don't think that these problems will be addressed until possibly the Goran Dragic trade, because the hope is to trade Goran for a 7-foot center, a guy like Moses Brown. I would love to trade for Moses Brown, put him in the starting position 20 minutes a night at first, and just see how he plays for the rest of the season. See how he plays. Now, the issue is you also have Precious Achiuwa, you also have Chris Boucher, you also have Kem Birch, Pascal. So, they're going to have to figure something out. But a lot of people are hoping Dragic gets traded for a big center who can play at least like 20 minutes a game so you don't have these constant issues. But in talking about last game, I mean, they just really shot themselves in the foot. I mean, they missed a ton of free throws. Like, they have an issue. They've had issues getting to the free throw line in recent games. They got to it 31 times, only made 20 of them for a 64% clip. And, I mean, they were shooting the ball well. They weren't having too many turnovers, but that's definitely going to be an issue. And I really like Pascal. But the downside to having Pascal returning, the bright spot is, I mean, you look at Detroit's game, 25, 12, and 7, missed 5 shots, 2 or 3 from downtown. Could have done more, fouled out. The downside to Pascal is, and it sucks that there's a downside to your best player, but it's clear. Less touches for guys like Scottie Barnes. Less touches for guys like OG Anunoby. The ball is, always in Fred. It's going to always be in Freddie's or Pascal's hands. Mainly Pascal's right now. And the issue is I want to see Scottie Barnes take more than 10 shots in a game. 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists for him in the last game, which seems like a good stat line. But, I mean, Scottie Barnes is capable of going like 18-8 on a consistent basis, which is pretty much what he was doing without Pascal. I mean, right now he's averaging a little over 16 a game, averaging a little over 8 rebounds per game. He's just getting less touches, and I know it's only been like 2 games since Pascal has been back, but it's clear. OG Anunoby's getting less touches, Scottie Barnes is getting less touches, and Scottie Barnes is really the one who is getting more affected by that. A lot of people still want to see Pascal. Pascal played a little bit of center against Detroit. Some people still want to see that. I mean, I'm down to try whatever, but you're going to have all these same issues that I was talking about earlier in the video with height. OG Anunoby, I like what OG's been able to do in certain games this season, but for the most part, he's been Mr. Inconsistent. I mean, I know he's averaging just under 20 points per game, so this comment sounds a little insane, but I mean, 2 of 8 from downtown the other night. Sometimes, like, his 3-point shooting isn't there this year. It just isn't there this year. And having less touches, I don't know if it's going to help. I don't know if it's going to hurt OG. Definitely didn't help him last game. Only 17 points. I shouldn't say that. Only had 2 rebounds, did have 17 points. So this OG and Scottie situation is, we're kind of just going game by game and seeing what's happening. A lot of people were ready for OG and Scottie to lose a couple of touches, but I would definitely like to see OG drop more than 17 against the Pistons. I would definitely like to see Scottie Barnes score more than 11 against the Pistons, shoot the ball more than 10 times. Another thing I want to talk about is OG Anunoby's dribbling. I mean, I thought in the preseason and earlier couple of games, his dribbling, it's clear that there is improvement on a year-to-year basis, but it's just still a little sloppy. It's still a little sloppy. If he had like a clean, crisp, efficient handle, OG Anunoby would definitely be averaging 20 points per game. Because he can get to his spots, but sometimes it's sloppy. I mean, he'll even like fall down to the floor if he loses the ball. So it can get a little bit sloppy. Outside of everything I mentioned, I think I'm all set. I just really think this defense needs to just be more consistent. They need to be patient. They need to stick to their assignment and stop offering so much help in the paint unless you're playing, like, because with Detroit, it's like, why are you crashing the paint every time? It's the Detroit Pistons, and no disrespect to the Pistons, but it's like they were on pace. Weren't they on pace for like one of the worst offensive seasons in the NBA? It's just tough. Because especially with them, they don't have like a huge, I mean, Isaiah Stewart's 6'8". Yeah, he's 250, but he's not like a tall, huge guy. Stop crashing the paint and stick to your assignments. That's it. It's that simple. All right, guys, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button. I appreciate all of you guys. Check out my Twitter down below as well. And the Raps play tonight. Hopefully we'll do a recap. It is a little bit late, but I do have late class tomorrow, so you never know. That's it. I'll see you guys later. Peace.